American Express does not want you to see a video like this. They want you to get their gold card with the lowest welcome offer possible, happily pay a $300 annual fee while they rake in those profits and you flex your shiny little metal card. But that's not what we're here for today. Since getting this card right here, I've racked up over 130,000 membership rewards points, as well as being able to fly me and my entire family across the country for free. So today I'm going to break down 13 powerful tips to help you beat American Express at their own game. These tips will start from beginner and then go more advanced towards the end of the video, up until the moment you decide to downgrade or cancel your card. With that being said, let's start off right at the beginning, and that's going to be when you sign up for this card. So what American Express wants you to do is sign up on their website with a 60,000 point offer. But if you take that offer, you're going to be losing out on close to $800 worth of value. So here's what you're going to do. Go into incognito and just keep entering American Express Gold Card and clicking on that link and then closing it down over and over and over again until you see a higher offer. What we're aiming for is around 100,000 points. That's usually going to be the highest. If you keep doing this over and over again and you're just not seeing anything, what you're going to want to do is download a VPN onto your computer and then change yourself to a different state. By doing this and maybe changing states a couple times, I promise you, you're eventually going to get that 100,000 points. So now you can go ahead and apply. I've made a whole video walking you through the application step, but it's really not very hard to get approved. People think because you get this metal card and the luxury associated with it, you have to have really high income and credit score to be able to get approved, but that's actually not true. I've seen college students get approved for this with like $20,000 income and a 660 credit score. And if you've already gotten a card from American Express, they're not actually going to hard pull your credit at all. So after you're approved for the card, that's when you need to lock in, because in your next billing statement, a $325 annual fee is going to kick in, and we want to make sure we're doing things right, so we're taking money from the bank, not the other way around. So there's two things that I want you to first do when you get this card in the mail. The first thing that you're going to want to do is add it to your mobile wallet. A lot of times you're just going to be out and about and maybe you forget your card or leave it in your car or something, and being able to have your American Express card on you at all times is going to be pretty handy. The next thing that you're going to want to do is download these 5 apps and just add them to a folder on your phone that says Amex Gold. The apps are going to be Dunkin, Resy, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and then of course the Amex app. And all those apps will make sense as you watch the video further. So now that we have this card and we can start spending on it, we want to make sure that we're able to hit that $100,000 welcome offer, because you have to spend $6,000 within 6 months, which is quite a bit of money. So if you're younger and maybe you don't spend as much like I do, here's some tips for you to hit the sign-up bonus. The idea here is to just buy things and put it on your card that you know that you're going to have to pay for in the next year. So that could be things like paying your insurance off for the next 6 months. For me, that might be something like protein powder. I know that I'm going to eat a lot of it in the next year, and I'm probably going to take a couple different trips to the nutrition store, so I might as well just buy a year's worth now to help me hit the sign-up bonus. You can even put your rent on it if you really need to, but that does usually come with a 3% transaction fee, so just keep that in mind. Also, make sure you know how far away you are from hitting that sign-up bonus. Unfortunately, there is no way in the app to directly track that, but you can either, one, just go through all your different statements and then calculate it and see how much you've spent on it, or two, go on the Amex app and chat with one of the representatives and just ask them how close you are to hitting that sign-up bonus. Okay, so the other tool that we're going to have to combat that annual fee is something called Stament Credits. And a lot of people don't really even know what a Stament Credit is. So to give you an example, let's say you had a credit card with a $50 statement credit for restaurants. If you went to a restaurant and put a $50 charge on your credit card, a couple days later, you would get $50 back from your credit card issuer to cover that purchase. We will break these all down individually, but the American Express Gold comes with 4 primary statement credits. The first thing that you're going to want to do, though, is actually go inside the American Express app or American Express's website. So open up the Amex app and then press membership at the bottom of the screen. Go to benefits and then click view all. From there, you'll want to go to Resy, Dunkin, and then the dining credits, and then click enroll in all of them. A lot of people assume that you automatically get these statement credits, but when you open the card up, you actually have to manually go in and do that to make sure you're getting them. The first statement credit that you're going to get, and the most useful one, is $120 towards Uber Cash. And this is a lose it or use it type of deal. So if you don't use your $10 at the end of the month, it doesn't roll over to the next. So all you have to do is download the Uber or Uber Eats app and then add your American Express Gold card. And when you pay with it, you'll get an automatic $10 off. I personally only take like 1 or 2 Uber rides a year, but what I like to do is eat food. So I'll go in the Uber Eats app and then just order Chipotle or pickup sticks or something for pickup. That way I don't have to pay the delivery fee and I get my food too. If we go ahead and take a look at the second statement credit this card gives us, it's $120 for dining. But there are some caveats to this credit. You're only going to get that $10 statement credit when you pay at Grubhub, Cheesecake Factory, Goldbelly, Wine.com, or Five Guys. This credit is almost identical to the Uber credit in the way that it's a $10 use it or lose it, and most gold card holders don't shop at any of those restaurants. But if you use it at Grubhub, you can order pickup just like that Uber credit and then not have to pay the delivery fees. One difference between this credit and then the Uber credit is the Uber credit is applied immediately, but the Grubhub credit takes a couple days. So for example, if we go ahead and look at my statements, you can see the last month I spent $19.34 at Grubhub on February 17th. Then I got my $10 statement credit a couple days later on the 21st for $10. But if you look at my charge from Uber, it was only $136 because I spent $11.36 on a Chipotle bowl and that $10 was subtracted. So I only saw the $136 charge on my card. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. At the end of the day, you're getting $10 off of both of those orders. All right, the third credit that you guys are going to get is a Resy credit. So Resy is like Open Table. They run the restaurants' reservations and stuff, but the restaurants that do use this software, if you use your American Express Gold Card at them, you get a $100 statement credit splitting up into $50 semi-annually. So from January to June, you'll get $50, and then from July to December, you'll get another $50 to spend at these restaurants. A lot of these restaurants are a bit fancier, and it's going to be in the bigger cities. What I recommend that you do is download the Resy app and then open up the map part of it, and that will show you all the closest Resy restaurants. I found a really nice Thai place right next to me, which is my favorite food, and it's pretty reasonably priced, so I just go here a couple times a year to get that statement credit back. All right, so the last credit we get is an $84 credit to Dunkin, and that is splitting up into $7 a month. Now, this is definitely the weakest of the statement credits, and it does nothing for lowering our effective annual fee, but I found a pretty good way to at least get some use out of it. So I'm down in California, and people are all about Starbucks here. And I got to admit, when I walk into a Starbucks and ask for a grande caramel frappuccino with extra whipped cream, it definitely decreases my testosterone. But I used to live up at the East Coast, and up there for some reason, people were crazy about Dunkin', but people don't really go to Dunkin' where I live. That's kind of a separate point. But anyways, what you're going to want to do is download the Dunkin' app and then create an account. Load up $7 from your American Express Gold Card into your Dunkin' account, and that way you're using that credit every month, and that Dunkin' money is just piling up in there. This is especially useful if you don't live around a Dunkin', but then you go and travel or move somewhere, and then you have a Dunkin' available to you, or maybe it's in an airport or something. Then you have all that money saved up to use, or maybe you get a girlfriend or something in the future, and you can buy her a really expensive Dunkin' gift card, and she'll never know that it was actually just paid for by your gold credits. Okay, so the next benefit here is one that most people don't even know exists, but the people that do know about it, it's one of their favorite credits. So American Express has something called their hotel collection, and there's over 1,000 hotels in there, and if you book one of these for 2 nights or more and pay for it with your Amex Gold, you're going to receive a $100 statement credit. So that's not going to pay for your actual hotel room, but it'll pay for the activities there. Like if you want to go to a spa, or if you want to get a massage or get some free breakfast or food or something, then you can do that. You will also get a room upgrade if it's available, and then a later checkout time too. So first of all, don't go out of your way to book it. Obviously only book one of these hotels if it's in your price range and it makes sense for where you're already traveling to, and then go and check Expedia and other travel portals to see if you're going to get a similar price to it. Now I want to get into the more overlooked benefits, and the first is their fraud protection. And I know a lot of people that pay the annual fees on the American Express cards because of how good their customer service is. I go in and bug American Express's customer service quite a bit, but I've never had a negative experience with them. A couple months ago, someone actually stole my credit card information, and they put 2 separate like $400 charges on my card. And I told Amex's customer service, and then within like 5 minutes, that charge was off of my account and they shipped me a new card. The gold card also has excellent purchase protection. So what this means is that if you lose something or it's damaged or stolen, American Express is actually going to reimburse you up to $10,000 per occurrence, up to $50,000 a year, as long as the incident happens within the first 90 days of you purchasing. So let's say you bought a phone with your Amex Gold Card and then you dropped and broke it, or you got some fire sketchers and then someone stole them out of your car, or maybe you lost an AirPod or something. Amex is actually going to reimburse you for that full amount. And the purchase protection on the Amex cards are way better than they are on the Visa cards because there's a lot less things that are excluded, and Amex also covers lost items. Just make sure that you still have the receipt on hand. Another thing you can get a lot of value with is something called Amex Offers. You actually get this with all American Express's cards, but they're pretty much just coupons, but sometimes they have some really good ones. If I just scroll through it right now, some of the ones that pop out to me are $20 off of TurboTax. You have 1 extra American membership reward point on Best Buy, and then there's random ones like Aura Ring and just a bunch of different stuff. But these are definitely worth taking a look through because I've seen some really, really good ones in here. Like I think a couple years ago, they had one where if you spent $50 at Best Buy, you'd get like a whole $50 back. The next tip I want to tell you guys is about your point redemption. And really the only way to use your American Express points is something called transferring them out. And the best way to do this is to go on seats.aero. This is a free tool. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. And what you do is enter in first your origin airport and then where you want to fly to, as well as your departure date. And that's going to show you all the different flight options and how many points you're going to have to use. You can then create an account with whatever airline it tells you, and then go on your Amex app or website, and then transfer your points to whatever airline gives you the best redemption. Also, it's definitely worth going in the app and seeing if Amex is offering you any transfer bonuses. For example, last month, they had a 20% point boost when you transferred out to Qatar. So let's say I transferred 100 of my Amex points to Qatar. They had a 20% boost, so I would get 120 Qatar points after I made the transfer. That's how I was able to get over 2 cents per point on my domestic flight. Now, if you watch this far in the video, you're probably thinking, wow, there's a lot to know about this card. It's not a simple cashback card where it has no annual fee and you just spend it and it maybe gives you 2 to 5% cash back. There's a lot of different statement credits that you have to keep track of. So there comes a time in most people's credit card journey where you have so many cards or you just don't want to have the headache of keeping track of 5 different statement credits. So that is going to bring us to the final stages of the American Express's Gold Life, and that is going to be canceling it. So before you cancel, you can ask them for something called a retention offer. Pretty much what you're going to do is just call them up and say, hey, I like this card, but the annual fee is just too much for me. I'm not getting enough for the statement credits. Do you have some kind of a retention offer where you can make it worth it for me to hold in my wallet for maybe another year? And a lot of times they will completely waive the annual fee, or they'll give you some kind of sign-up bonus or something to help you keep the card in your wallet. If they say no, you can just hang up and then call again and get a different representative on the line. And then sometimes that other person will offer you a retention offer. But I wouldn't try this more than 2 or 3 times. It's just going through a computer algorithm. So if they tell you no 3 times, you're most likely just not going to get one no matter how many times you call. And that brings us to downgrading the card. So if you still want to squeeze out some points, you could then downgrade your card to the green card. Now, full transparency, that card sucks. I don't recommend it to anyone, but it has only a $150 annual fee. And a lot of times, right after you downgrade your card to that green card, American Express will actually give you an upgrade offer to bring your now green card back up to the gold card. I know a couple different people that have done this method, and usually they get that offer within like a day of downgrading. But if you don't want to go through that hassle and that's just not going to work for you, you can then cancel the card. But you don't want to cancel that card if you still have membership rewards points that you haven't used yet. And what you can do is actually get a credit card called the Blue Business Plus from Amex. And even though this is a business card, it has no annual fee, and you can get approved for it with no business at all in just your social security number, and that is going to anchor down all the points that you've earned with your Amex Gold. If you want to learn exactly how to get approved for that card, you can watch this video here.